Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. It is a pleasure for me to be here today with you with a very special guest. Today, I have my friend and my mentor for the past, I would say, almost over 2 years, I think. And it is an honor and a pleasure for me to be here with her and sharing. Uh, she will share with us some of her knowledge, her experience as a spiritual medium and healer for over 30 years. So I would like to welcome her, and we're going to start with these questions. The theme for today will be the many ways of healing. So we all have these questions about healing. What is healing, and how does that happen? What is the best one? There's so many things that we hear out there. So we will take that information that we can receive today that is in our highest good. So because there's so many things in there, but I'm sure we will get the information that must be in our highest good. So thank you, welcome. I know this in English, but I'm sure we can put the subtitles down there and you guys can translate, or perhaps later on I can translate it and just we put the subtitles. So we will wait a few minutes to get some people in. This will be recorded, so you can always hear it again and you can share with people. And thank you so much. Good morning. So today we are just doing this beautiful interview. We'll be talking about many ways of healing. So I'm gonna bring Angie Bell, which is, again, she's a spiritual medium, a healer. She's my friend and my coach. She's like my mommy, obviously. And let's just bring her out. Hi, Angie.
Hi, Claudia. So happy to be here. Thank you so much for your introduction. It's fabulous. And as I think we'll preface that with good friends. And I started out as your medium and then into mentorship. But my greatest gift in all of this is that your friendship. And I want to say thank you so much for having me here, and thank you for your friendship and how fantastic it is to be here as a mentor, seeing the student, the mentee, moving so beautifully in this process. So thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you. And thank you for being here. Mm-hmm. And my greatest pleasure also to, share with as many people as I can. There is so much knowledge and wisdom that you have. And I'm so happy that we are here together. And as I was saying, right, we will get information. So we're going to get into our theme. And so we have the most common questions. But before anything, as we are, I can see more people coming in, and the people who will see this on a replay know that it's like if you were live. So it's no difference on this because this energy is already here. So it doesn't matter if you watch the replay or not, it will be happening, even if it's in 10 years from now. So just know that. So I was wondering if you will be able to help us to do a quick grounding so that we are able to receive this energy, this information, because when we are grounded, we are able to integrate all this information and we don't forget about it.
I'd be happy to do that. So if you're able to if you're sitting, just put your feet flat on the ground, your hands gently on your thighs. You can have them down, you can have them up, whatever way you choose. And if you're if you're driving and you're listening, just please keep your eyes on the road. Sometimes that happens, but just take a moment. We're going to ground our energy. So if you can, close your eyes for just a moment and imagine the soles of your feet as roots of a tree. And just allow those roots to grow deep into the center of the earth. And what we're doing is we're grounding our energy with Mother Gaia. And as we allow those roots to grow deeper and deeper, we start to see the beautiful golden light force energy at the center of the earth. Allow your root tips to touch that beautiful golden energy and allow it to flow up into your body. Allow that energy to fill your body from the top of your head to the tips of your fingers, all the way down to your toes. Just breathing in that beautiful energy, allowing anything that is heavy to be released and transmuted into the earth. And with every breath, allow that energy to expand outside of your body as well. So you filled your body, now you're expanding it with breath, like a beautiful bubble of energy. Take a moment and allow divine light to enter your chakra, your crown chakra. And we're going to infuse beautiful white divine light within our body as well, connecting the heavens and the earth, intertwining that beautiful white light with the golden light. As we move through this moment in time together, grounded and connected. Take a nice deep breath in, and so it is. There you are.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. So welcome, people. I see more people in here. And so I know many Spanish people that speak English, so I'm sure they will get the information. So this is a theme, and a lot of people are right now hearing more and more healing, right? We are healing constantly. And we hear so many things about healing, so many modalities. And I feel like the people who are just starting, it could be confusing sometimes in the understanding. And I think I really feel that, sometimes having guidance, to know, resonating with ourselves, what is going to be the best for us would be a good way to go. But we would like to ask you, what is healing?
What is healing? Well, like you said, it's many different things to many different people. But for me, in a spiritual healing, is that not only healing is trying to help our soul to become whole. And by doing that is to face our fears, our blocks, our challenges, and in a spiritual, mindful way, so that we can, heal those wounds that we so have found in our lifetime. I'm sorry, my tongue got tied there. But so healing is, for me, for everyone is different, but it's transformational. It's change. It's allowing yourself to help those broken and damaged pieces to come together and unite without feeling that you are not good enough, not party to you find the resilience in yourself. That's what the healing is, and we are always healing. It's not a one and done kind of situation, and for everyone it can be a little bit different. So healing often can be painful in a way, because what we're doing is we're stepping into that process and learning more about ourselves, and what do we need to learn about ourselves to be accepting of that. And the biggest part is, how can we forgive? And that's the key to all of this, I believe. The love.
I agree with you. I guess healing gets the process of I guess it's not so easy sometimes when you have to go through some parts of your body, and it hurts, many ways. So, well, it will lead me to the next question, because the healing that sometimes we get, or some people may understand, is like healing feels like if I have, I don't know, say an illness, or I have my broken bone or something like that. Is it always healing? When we talk about healing and cure, I guess we can talk about the difference, the healing and cure. So what would be the difference between healing and cure?
Wow, you got some good questions, my friend. Okay, so we can cure our body, like you said, with a broken bone, we can heal the bone. But perhaps we can't heal what happened, what happened in that moment in time. That may be the place where we have to look a little deeper and take a little more time with ourselves. Curing is, sure, we can cure, but what is it? What is the residue that's left behind that we have to address? And sometimes that's the part that's the more difficult, the stuff that you can't see. When you can physically see someone heal, it's one thing, but you can't always see the emotional healing that needs to be done, or the um, yeah, that's kind of what I feel uh, with that. I find that sometimes, sometimes we all feel like once our bone is healed, or once, it's not only with healing with your physical body, but it's also healing with ideas and ideals. Like if I make more money also is another thing. I will be better, I'll be healed. Well, a lot of times that's not always the case. If I heal my bones or I do this right, if you don't address um, where it came from, then that's where healing is really important to step into. Not always do we want to, like we said earlier, but I think that's the difference. Sometimes you can see a cure, right? You can see the broken bone has healed, or you can see maybe, a lot of times. Uh, Healing in our body comes from when we accept things or we surrender things. So some people may find that maybe they have a skin condition that continues to show up when they're stressed or there's anxiety. And then when they address the fact of what that is, all of that disappears. So, there's kind of so much to learn about yourself. I know for me personally, um, it's, I'm not, and like everyone else, I have things that go on, but my knees, when I didn't address a block or something I didn't want to walk through or surrender to or to deal with, my knees would get worse and worse. I couldn't walk. Inflammation would happen. I had problems. So once I start to talk to my body, I also believe that when we talk to our body, it creates massive healing as well, in a good way, positive way. Um, Things will change. My knees, once I was able to do that, I can tell you I can walk. I can walk and talk at the same time now, Claudia. So, but that's an example about how to heal that. So perhaps my issue was that I was afraid to move forward and stand in my own power. Sometimes it's not just the fear of failure, but it could be the fear of success. It could be so many other things. So how do I heal that? And so that's when we have to look deeper into it and say, okay, what happened and in that makes you feel that you had to be protecting yourself. And then you can start to find out where that leads you. Every one of us is different, but we all have something that um, crops up. And I think anyone at this moment in time could say, have one thing on the top of their mind that has bothered them or they are, resistant to go through. And uh, that's the place to start in your healing. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Absolutely. I feel like that's just, what you said, when the body is a cue, letting us know, talking to us, and we listen, I guess, then when we get the message, then it's like, okay, yeah, I don't have to push that button anymore. I guess we could say, right? It's like on the other side, they're pulling our ears to say, hey, listen, pay attention here, pay attention there, right?
Yes, exactly. And they give us, spirit, angels, your guides, they give you tons of signs. It's whether we want to listen to them or pay attention. Right? Yeah, just what you're saying. And so even the best of us that have, it's so much easier to share sometimes and to walk your own truth. That's the big part. That is so
true. I feel like actually, I was just talking along, whether it was, I can remember that was you or somebody else, but that sometimes we have all this knowledge, but if we don't apply it, if we don't actually, It's just like, it's just accumulation of things, information, but it's just how we integrate this. And that's the hard part, right? It's like, as you're walking through your path as well, you continue learning. I have my things as well too, as you know. But many other people, that go into the path, and sometimes they feel like, oh, they probably have it all figured out. But I think it's just a constant. We will never end, right? It's always something new. When you think that you already passed that, and it comes again, just to finish what it was not before. So I guess it goes into the next question too, that you kind of touched already a little bit, but like knowing there's so many ways we hear about Reiki, we hear there is a healing, a crystal healing, and we have, the hands-on healing. That's what you do. That is, I guess, in a way of healing. Can you talk to us a little bit about the modalities that you use, for example, that you found? I guess anybody can resonate. Some people will be more attracted to, Reiki. Some people more to crystals, or there is ceremonies, and there's so many things out there. But I guess my feeling is that you go with the one that it follows you. But talk to us a little bit about what you found in your modalities that you use. And I don't think many people know about hands-on healing. What is that?
Well, hands-on healing is a fantastic modality where I use the energy of Archangel Raphael. I partner with him, so to speak, and I ask for his energy to help flow healing energy through the client that I'm working with. And at first, because it started quite a few years ago, and we physically had to be with people. But that changed over the years. And now, as we understand energy and the energy work, we can also do this healing remotely. So I love it because we're talking to our bodies directly when we're working with healing, as well as Archangel Raphael. So I love the fact that every one of us can actually, I'm trained in that, but I do solidly believe, if you believe in angelics, you believe in higher source, God, universe, creator, whatever that is for you, you can ask for the energy of their healing. So to be very simple, I always suggest that Raphael is the healer. He is the ultimate angel of healing. And so I love that because we can put that energy in. And so I'm going to go back to my knees. I'm going to go personal again and just say, when I had some challenges with that and trying to push through or not wanting to go through something, I would ask and take my hands, and you can do the same, and place your hands and ask him for you to be the conduit to his healing. And so you putting your hands on, so I would put my hands on my knees. I would thank my knees, and I would ask him to run his healing energy through so I could actually move through. It doesn't happen overnight. I'm not going to say but some people do have instant change, but it's also something that you need to work on that. And there he's willing to send that energy. Hands-on healing to me is available to all of us. And I just was more interested in really talking to the body on a cellular level. So that's what the program that I went through talks to the body and in their language of cellular conversations, to healing, to be back into perfect form, right? And so how we can stop sort of something from progressing. Perhaps it's inflammation, perhaps it's something more that it's not it's secondary to your regular doctor's programming and treatment, but it's an enhancement. So I love using that energy on people to help flow that healing. And I just need to just say energy transferring from the heavens to your body. So it's a beautiful modality. If you haven't tried it or but know somebody that's doing it, venture an opportunity. Take the opportunity to try it if that's something new to you.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful because all the modalities that we hear, like is I was talking to someone today too about, it's where we put the intention and how we bring it on. Like you say with Rafael, he was always with you, and I had to witness of this being in her office. You can just feel the energy so strong in there. It's just beautiful. I miss that. I miss so much, being in there, because it was so full of good energy. It feels so good. It's just walking into your office. It was healing, absolutely, and it feels so good. And I feel like another thing about the healing, as you say, combined with everything. Like maybe I would add in there something about like when I had my first session with you, for example. For me, I received so much healing through your words. Just being in there and having that conversation, that connection, like knowing like, okay, I'm not crazy. I'm hearing things, I'm seeing things in here, and I'm not making this on my mind. And I always, share with them. I think it was probably 3-4 visits that I did before I actually was able to ask you if you will do anything. I remember that was probably the third time I was there, and you were like, and how can I help you? You were asking me. It's like, I don't know. I was just hoping that you will be able to see what I was seeing, and obviously I know you did, but you of course, we have to ask for that part. I remember you saying, hey, if there's something that you would like to develop your spirituality. I remember the words that I said, oh my God, I will never be able to do that like you do. I'm not cut up for that, being a medium. I don't think that's my thing. And who will guess, I'm gonna
here you are, and here you are. You're fantastic at it. And I think that's the thing when everybody is ready. So here's the part about healing that I think is really important. Claudia, you were seeking healing from a family loss, and that's where it started a lot as well. And I have to also say, I have to give credit to your spiritual sister because she really brought you to this world, and thankfully so. But the key to it is that when you're ready to, you have to be ready to heal. It's not somebody's going to buy you a session. You're not just sort of, you're seeking it. And so that is the greatest thing to understand, is that when we are ready to transform and we're ready to change, we are the ones that ready to co-create with spirit and the universe. That's the key to it. So it doesn't matter what modality you decide to take. I love, and one of the things that you said here, I've done because I've been doing this for quite a while. I love Reiki to help clear energy in your body. If you're feeling heavy and just can't move it. I love the nature walks and connecting with Mother Earth in meditation and outside in the environment. I love full moon and new moon rituals. Those things also help clear the energy and allow your body to release the things that you're holding on to. Other rituals can be all different. I sage the house. It is another ritual. So there's many practices that we can do, but you need to be really ready for it. And I say this with great caution to those who are trying to encourage somebody. Well, you can encourage others, but the thing is that if it's not your decision, then perhaps it's not as effective as it could be. Does that make sense?
I think so. I think it could be more harmful than help if you're trying to force someone to go through that process, right?
Or yourself, even yourself. If you're forcing yourself to it and you're not quite ready, understand it. Be gentle with yourself, because healing, as you know, you have to be really gentle with yourself. And there's a lot of self-care, and not to feel guilty because you're doing this. Really taking that time to explore something new, and that might feel uncomfortable too at first, but then you realize it becomes, something that you really desire to do and learn more. And self-care is actually, it's not selfish, is what I'm saying. It's more self-care. People sometimes feel like, if I do all of this stuff for myself, that's a selfishness, but truly it is not. It's all about self-care and taking care of you and your soul and the inner child and your heart. So I think I went off on that one.
Oh, it's good. It's coming through. So this is what we need to hear. I think this is absolutely, what you were saying about, people tend to think, and then I will be selfish because I'm doing this for myself. Because when you go through the healing process, you really have to work. It's like inner work. It is you, and you might be a little bit I feel like maybe some people around me tell me when I'm going through at the beginning, like a little bit more distant. It wasn't them. It was just that I was, understanding many things. And in the process, it's like my reactions to things will be different. And I guess sometimes the truth is we don't want to go and see some things like, oh, I don't want to work with this right now, right? And when you go in a healing process and you have to deal with these things, and it's like you open a box and there is once you start, there is not a way back. So there is things that will, unfold, don't stop.
Yes, it's true. Absolutely.
Then I have another question. I guess you can touch it as well too about, okay, someone goes and, does I want to do some healing, and the healing, it depends on what is happening. But sometimes people say, okay, I want to. I had people ask me, it's like, hey, can you heal me? Well, first, I am not the one. I'm just like you just said. I'm just the conduct of it. It's not me. Mm-hmm. But what does it really take in order for someone to really be healed? Like, say if they go, okay, one thing is that we have to combine this with our personal growth, with our introspection and all that stuff. But if someone goes with you and say, I have a pain, and to kind of relieve that at the moment, what does it really take? Or, some people feel like they can go in and out and they say, I don't feel the pain, could be that quick. Mm-hmm. Let's remove this myth. What do you think? Could be done?
It can be done. And I have helped people release that a number of times. Here again, you need to be in full, you need to be, when we do some painful things, like, well, I think what it is that we have to trust. And when we trust in what we're doing, then, and we have a strong belief that we can release some of that pain. So if it's a pain that just continues, so when you realize what it is, when you are able to truly release it, send love and forgiveness to that space in your heart, or it's in your body, or just acknowledging it, that also releases a lot of pressure, a lot of energy. And I have seen people walk away like they have had a 50-pound bag on their back for 20 years and leave light, fresh, without that obstacle or that pain in their back, literally, any longer. So there's processes that I use and for healing, cord cutting, cord changing, whatever you like to do. There's also some beautiful, love working with angels, as you do. This is one of your massive talents, but to work with, we don't have to do it on our own. And I think that's part of what we're learning as we're all awakening, is that this doesn't have to be done by yourself. And a lot of times you shouldn't do it by yourself, because just having someone there to guide you through it, to help you really get into that state of mind and trusting that this can be healed. Your belief that you can be healed is 100% part of the whole process. I do believe we can heal our bodies. And so I hope, does that answer your question?
Yes, it did. You just said right now, believe, like you just said, if you don't believe you can be healed, mm-hmm. then it's not going to happen. I think in one of the things that I've, experienced too, is that you really want to be helped, right? Just like you said it before, if you don't want to be helped, either yourself or somebody else, if somebody comes and says, okay, do it. I don't want to do the job. I want you to do the, press the button, reset the button. And even, I said, I have said to some people before, even if I was able to do that, okay, let's say I cleared your chakras, I do a balance and calibrations and all that, it'll go back to the same. unless you do your guidance, I guess, in this case, if the angels are saying, hey, you should, forgive, or,
You need to do the work that goes with it. I mean, there's a balance. This is all about balance and how to keep yourself centered. And yeah, we all want the magic button. But then all of a sudden we realize that you need to do the work to go with it, as you're saying exactly. So very important that afterwards they leave the house, but there is work to be done. There's in my case, in this particular case, you leave with an affirmation, a mantra, and some work to be done, just like you're doing with your challenge this week. That's exactly what you're doing. You're learning to bring things into a practice that you can do on a daily basis. And that's the same with healing. You just can't do it and let it go. I've seen people heal from some amazing illness, and then they thought they were fine. Let me tell you, the doctors were like, "Oh, where did it go? What happened?" It was a case of cancer. And not to say that this is for everyone, but in this particular case, belief was huge. It changed, everything transformed. And then what happened, and they even said so, I stopped doing my practice. And what happened was it did return at some level. But so this just is a reminder to us. I mean, that's an extreme reminder, but we do need to, continue that belief. Once we've made that change or that shift, continue to work with all the tools that you possibly can. And whether, like I said earlier, it could be Reiki and the crystals. I love, we love healing crystals and our angels. So whatever that is, so make it a practice. Healing is a practice. And I always think of us as like, I guess a lotus would be the better one than an onion, but, we always sort of peeling open something new. So our practice just allows us to get there a little bit more quicker. Something arises, we know what to do.
With this, I come with this question that, well, first, what you were saying, it is so true about, like, I've seen it myself as well too. What happens, especially when we talk about a big illness like that, say cancer. So it's a big, shaking. We are shaking to the core, and it's like, okay, hold on a second. So what am I doing wrong? What happened? Because we tend to think, why this happens to me? We start questioning, and we have all these, questions. Why me? What is happening? I do know, and they have shared with me too, like, our soul is more powerful than our genes as well. We can actually even change our genetics as well too. And that comes with mindfulness, with consciousness, and, understanding. And so when we have these moments and then we start changing, let's say, okay, all of a sudden, of course, you have to have a specific diet, and you start really looking after yourself. You're helping your body too. You're listening to your body. Then if we go back to the old ways, it's like you were saying, we go back to our old habits. It was just return, and it's just like, what just happened here? So with this, I kind of lost the question that I had. Oh, there's something right there. But one thing I know, and I was gonna ask, what about those? Talk to us a little bit about miracle. Those miracle recoveries that we talk about cancer, but there's other ones that I have heard, for example, that, I know it does happen, right? And it is possible, because to my understanding, nothing is impossible. It is only our limited beliefs and our understanding of things. And I guess eventually we will get there. But what about those extra cases of healing? Like, for example, have you heard of or seen anyone to create a new part of body, like any, like a tissue in your body? You know what I mean? I will, like what I'm trying to say here, that there is this technique, and I think, with the quantum healing, hypnosis therapy, I know by Dolores Cannon, I did this course with just to kind of understand a little bit about the past lives and all that kind of stuff. So in those sessions, you could see amazing things happening, just like you were saying, like literally people walking to start walking again. And you see those things as well in some of the workshops, like with Joe Dispenza, for example, that is all about mind. Meditation is powerful. And you can just go there and rewire your brain. And, but like anything requires consistency and the willingness to do that. But, and here I'm gonna say I did a session myself, and I had my gallbladder removed about 2 years ago, something like that, just before I met you, almost 3 years ago. So in my session at the end, the way it works is that the higher self will come through as well, and it'll do a scan. And sometimes, and that's gonna be my question, and maybe what you see about this too, why people come ill into this earth. So sometimes we wonder why children come sick and with something. So I would like you, if you can share with us, what have you seen in your experience, when you see children sick, or when these people, we have these diseases, or we come with these illnesses to earth. Why is that?
Oh, that's a big question. It takes me into past life, and I think that's where that comes a little bit when I see the children coming with things that you don't know where. What came to my mind is interesting. I'm not sure if it's off topic, but it's just come to me. When you see a birthmark on somebody, or an injury on their body, and they don't know where it's come from, it's mostly birthmarks. Usually, it's from somewhere other than this present life, right? Because it's usually from an injury in a past life. You can actually identify that that's where it's happening. So sometimes I feel like I don't have an experience in the sense that, off the top of my head, it's a really good question, and I'm just trying to think. When we come into this world, we come in with the cellular memory where we've been in the past. And sometimes that follows us through. And sometimes that's where we need to heal. And that needs someone like yourself, or others who can take you back in past life and sort of look at that. And the only example that I can actually give is myself, in the sense that as a child, I would always watch war movies. I don't know. I was obsessed with them for the longest time, until I went to pathways regression and realized that I was the soldier, and I left my battalion behind, or something happened, and I was the only one that walked out alive. When I realized that, I just watched. I just had a healing, because then I realized that somewhere in my body, I was always feeling guilty about moving forward and moving ahead. And that is a healing in itself. And so after that point, I didn't watch horror movies so much anymore. The other part of that is that when I went to Remembrance Day here in Canada, I didn't have all the soldiers around me as much as I used to. They were able to say, you're forgiven, you understand now, you can move forward. So that energy, that angst, that pain of the guilt, where I didn't know where it came from, was released. So I can give you that personal experience. And I'm telling you, it was revolutionary. It just released immediately. And so I think people and children, they can come with things like that, and they don't know where it is until you sort of go back. I know that's people who I know personally, who have a fear of heights or flying, or they thought they had died a certain way, and and there's no reason for it, and they bring it into this lifetime. Again, when we can heal that and understand it, then we're able to move forward. Sometimes the fear of being successful for people is a challenge, because in a past life, maybe someone took that success away from them. Maybe they were like I hate to use the word killed, but they were died of it, or something was lost to them because of it. So in this lifetime, sometimes we bring that forward and don't want to be as successful. We sort of pull ourselves back and block ourselves from moving forward. I'm not sure if that really answers the question about the cellular memory and how it sticks with us, but and pain or
Yeah,
illness. But I hope it gives you an idea. Yeah.
yeah, it does. It does, because I feel like even though uh, sometimes we talk about past lives, it is, I guess, exciting for people to know, okay, what was I in my past life, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think more than anything, it's like, what can you get from that life that you can understand this life more than anything, right? So if I was Cleopatra in the other life, well, that's great, but I was, that was that life. Now I'm here, I'm Claudia. How can I use those powers of Cleopatra?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Why, and was I able to either remember, see it, whatever. So how can we do it? And I see that, and I guess my question was, so sometimes what we don't really understand, and sometimes we start blaming us for many things. We actually make the thing even worse, or we make it a little bit more difficult. So this can give a little bit of a sense of how you can open your mind and explore the ideas. And sometimes I feel like maybe we don't need to know exactly what life was it and how it came, but give the possibility to perhaps, to say, okay, maybe that's from another time and it does not apply in this time. So I feel, me talking on personal, sometimes, I don't know, sometimes there are things happening. And what I said is, okay, if this is something from the past and, I'm not aware of my subconscious, I just release it. It does not belong to this life right now. And I don't need to be afraid of the dark or the heights or whatever it is happening. And I feel like if more and more parents are, more aware, like I see it on my children before, I would say, oh, come on, you're just making this up, or, can help them as well too, because we are the generation that we are breaking these kind of, things and challenge. They are challenging us sometimes, and like, what is this? I mean, perhaps, parents that they're not even aware of any of this, right?
Exactly. That's I love that you talk about children talking about things happening and all that. Yeah, do not squash that. I think that's the greatest thing, is not to squash those things, because they're giving you actually information that could help you and them move forward, and just to acknowledging that. Healing is such a it can be it's super fun to talk about because it's so complex. It can take us down so many different avenues, and what is it that what is right for you? It's sort of the question. And um, I think too is when you start to surrender to the idea that there's so many possibilities, then the right way will come for you. You'll understand it. They will put that in front of you, so that you're able to overcome the obstacles that you're feeling, that you have. And it's not, and I just think we kind of missed a little bit about the body a little bit, and what we put in our body too. That also helps. It helps us clear and get balanced as well. Does that make sense? Yeah, I know that Claudia, you're very committed to putting beautiful things in your clean things in your body. It also helps clear the mind and find clarity, and that is a huge proponent to healing as well, is keeping that, I think, a constant in our life as well. So I love your questions. They're very, very good. I'm very excited to be here. I'm just telling everybody that to see Claudia here today, it just makes me so proud. And I love what you're sharing with everyone, and that we're able to hopefully give some ideas for your audience, or the audience here, to take on to, or even it's just like giving you a seed, that and now you can plant it. Now maybe you might decide that today I'm going to look into what hand healing is, or remote view. There's another healing, where you could, I just lost it. Me healing you from a distance healing.
Long
Um,
distance healing.
uh, there's so many things, or maybe it is actually just meditating, learning to take time and meditate. That is a healing modality right there. And it takes a little bit of practice, but it is worth. And there's so much science to it now too. Not only just being spiritually and the yogis and all of that sort of moving it, but there's science to meditation now, and it doesn't have to be quiet meditation where everyone's doing the ohms and stuff, which is one of the ways to do it. But for me, I know to quiet my mind sometimes it takes a little bit, but you can go for a walk in the forest and all of a sudden just be in that moment and in that place, or outside. It doesn't have to, wherever you are able to get out and connect with Mother Earth. I think that's probably one of the greatest gifts that we can do, that uh, and start to develop. We'll want to do it more often and for longer. But it can start off with like 20 seconds, 2 minutes, whatever that is, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I feel like even just coloring as even a way of meditation, or I don't think it's really fun, but I guess some people enjoy washing dishes. But washing the dishes, remember talking about it, just feel the water. What is it? Is it too cold? Is it warm? And the dishes, the texture. There's ways to be just being present. That's basically meditation, and just to stay in the moment. And when you say walking, I mean sometimes our body needs different ways and different things in a day to day. And some days I feel like I do my opening, which for people who doesn't know, like opening is like, I open my chakras, I'll be ready for the day when I'm gonna go for, readings and things like that. I normally like to do that when I go for a walk. But there's some times that, it's like I just want to be just walking and just don't think about anything. I'm just, enjoying the walk, looking at the trees and smelling and, playing with Archie. I don't know. And I'm there by myself. Or even actually that could be a good time for me to stay with the kids and really listen to them, because sometimes at home it's like everybody's chatting around and it's loud, and I don't feel like I'm giving the right attention to anyone. So it's like everybody's trying to overtalk each other. It's like, okay, let's go for a walk. And then I guess it's easier just to bring some of that energy and more level. And I think it's healing for everybody. Mm-hmm. And as you were saying today, and sometimes I get this message from the angel saying, healing messages. And the healing messages could be like you just said, from today you might get a word or an idea, an inspiration. It might be vastly different, what you get from here, or the technique or something that is going to be, like, oh, maybe that sounds good for me. And if you're here, you're listening to this for a reason. There is no coincidences. And I feel like even if you take the one thing and that's all you needed, that was our job, right?
Just to find that one thing that you may not have been doing. It can be all, reading too. You might want to find. I'm just trying to think. Making a list of what, and maybe anyone that's listening, if they could, if there's something that hasn't been listed or noted here today, they share with what they're doing, so we can share it with those that are also listening, whether it's here in the replay. But I know that it is such a change, and sometimes it can be a challenge. And here, sometimes you might start it and you can go 10 days in a row, and then all of a sudden you fall off the wagon. I want you to know that healing and all of this doesn't just automatically continue. It takes time, and you have to be really gentle with yourself, and so that you just get back up and you start it again and move forward. Do some beautiful. So some of the healing techniques too is our self-talk and how we talk to ourselves. So as you move through it, be gentle with your conversation in your mind. We have two minds, we have mind that can get away on us, and we can just say, thank you, grateful for all things that you have, and just let those negative thoughts release and let them go, because replace them with I am so grateful. And thank you so much. Or thank you, thank you, thank
This
you.
is beautiful. Yeah, that's right. Always being in a grateful state. I was like gonna say, well, there was so much information in here. I'm sure one thing I know is that, when we talk, sometimes we might not be aware of, all the information that we're receiving at this moment. So I will encourage you to go back and listen it again, especially because sometimes we just are here right now what we need to hear. But if you go back, then you will hear something different. So, or what is it that you need at that moment? So, and it could be here, it could be anywhere. So always, although I'm guilty of this, I not always go back and listen to the things, right? But it is healing too, because sometimes you get validations and you get confirmations and then you get another piece of information. Sometimes I feel like they like to play in the other side and they give us pieces, like I feel like Indiana Jones, right? So they give a piece of the map right here and a piece from here, and then eventually, like, you got the whole, like, oh, I got it now, right? And that's the next comes in here. So, like Angie said, I will, suggest the same thing. Just be patient, be kind to yourself, like you said. And today we were talking about our throat chakra, so we have to be using our words wisely towards ourselves, because we can use the center for, like building someone or destroying someone. That could be ourselves too. So that's another healing technique, how we can talk to ourselves. And once we are aware of that, then we can also become aware of how we talk to other people too. Are we really speaking our truth? And we can heal generations as well, as we are more aware. If we don't repeat patterns, perhaps our parents did the same, or grandparents, and it has been like that. But we can do it differently. Say, okay, that was them. It's not like cut your course and you would never know about them. It's like, I understand what it comes from. I can't disappear just like that, but just be aware that that's not you and you can do it differently. We could be conditioned at this moment, but our soul is more powerful than genetics, and that I know for sure. So Angie, I was wondering first, if for closing you can, perhaps pull us a card to all of us that we are here. But before that, I was you can just share with us, where can people reach you at, and what you're doing, and all that information. So if they want to connect with you.
Well, thank you so much, Claudia. I have to say, I love this conversation, and I know we'll have more of it. And I know that you're sharing amazing information to the world, and can thank you for that, and continue. I look forward to seeing what more comes in the future. My name is Angie Bell, so it's easy to get a hold of me, angiebell.com. You can find me on my webpage or on my Facebook page. I'd be more than happy to connect with you, any and all of you.
I will put that information down here too for everyone to see it.
Well, thank you so much. And so you'd like a card then? I'm just going to, I'm sorry if that's coming through. And
call it, the human is calling.
The angels are calling right now, and I don't know how that happened. Usually, I'm going to tell you, when everyone works with the angels, usually I say to them, let this be a moment where it's free of any extra energy. So this angel must be a very powerful one that's calling through.
It is.
Oh, God. Okay, so a card for today for all of us. What is it that we need to know that's in our highest good and the good of all? So I would love to do that for all of us, and I'm just thanking you all for being here. And if there's anything that resonates with you, let Claudia know, and have that conversation with her as well. This is a beautiful time. So,
also, as we were saying, it would be good just to add on here, if you guys are doing something that is working for you, a technique or something that helps for you, it could be a remedy with, you could get for the cold and you heal yourself, your cough or your pains. I feel like the more we share, the more people will be able to feel inclined to do the same thing. And sometimes we feel like, oh my God, I'm not gonna say that because they might think I'm crazy, right? I'm this and that. So the more we do it, we encourage people to do the same thing.
Absolutely the same. Now, I love synchronicity, and I love how spirit and everything gives us signs. So today, uh, all of us, and there might be more than it might mean more to others than myself. But so I'm going to just bring this up here. I don't know if you can see this card. It's a little because I got my blur on, but I'm going to tell you. This is the healing of the heart card, if you can imagine. Is that amazing? Healing of the heart. And so this one is about making amends with others. So that's part of healing. About the willingness to release your past, and so that you can heal your heart. This also is taking time to get healthy and renew and starting something new, a rebirth, So I'm going to just read because I like to use the book so you get the full essence of what's here. And it says, when you are wounded emotionally, you need time to regroup and find your center, just what we're talking about today. You may have recently endured a breakup or betrayal, lost someone close to you, or lost an affiliation that gave you too much power to. Perhaps you're watching someone go through a difficult time and feel bad that you can't help them. Maybe you're still not over a past disagreement. No matter the cause, this is a heartache. So today it's asking you to take a deep breath in and call for deep healing. So healing that heart, and the path to that is really about what is the flowing of giving and receiving. So when you want to heal, you make sure that you not only are you the giver, but you also have to be the receiver of the love and the energy that comes back to you. And sometimes, sometimes wounding reoccurs because you've become too dependent or independent, and so it kind of it's hard to heal. So what they're asking with this card here, this beautiful little card, is that um, healing comes within and without, comes from within and without. So you need to be able to, find that a place to heal by speaking to others and being very mindful of that, but also not to self-sabotage yourself, right? So this card is very important, and a healing heart is really our priority now. And so nothing else matters. So this card comes at a perfect time, I believe, and that hopefully you can make amends, not only with others, but with yourself. And that is true self-care, true healing. And thank you so much for having me here today.
Oh, thank you so much. I want to say thank you, people. I see people that are in Canada, in Venezuela, in Colombia. Okay, Seattle. We have somebody from Seattle here, and I know there's people from Peru and people from Argentina as well too. So we are worldwide right now.
All together, or all connected energetically. It's been my heart is full. Thank you so much for having me, Claudia.
No, thank you for being here. Such a pleasure again, and to share. You can share with us, your knowledge, your wisdom, and to bring more of this as often, well, Mercury or my guys, they say, we are the lights for we can be the light for someone. As some people, are the lights for us, and anything that is in our way, I guess they are mediums, I guess you could say. We are the medium, of this information. And the intention is that anybody who receives this information is going to be for their highest good of all, and whatever you may need. So thank you, everyone. We will connect again soon. Well, tomorrow I will be live to do your messages for the card. So if it's in Spanish and English. So if you are popping in, you can say it in English and I'll say it in English or Spanish. So just jump in here, and thank you so much. And I know we will do this again. Maybe we can take another topic, and this is fun.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye for now.